Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello and welcome to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. I welcome you to the podcast every now and then, and I keep telling you that we have another super wonderful one. This time I mean it. It's a really wonderful episode. I'm with Poloko Mosarwa, but she's got a nicer name than that, and she'll describe herself in full. But before we get into the nitty-gritties, please do me a service of just hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to grow this podcast, and your support really means a lot to us, and we do not take your viewership for granted, and we really appreciate your being here. Let me welcome you, Poloko.
Hello, Ramfobe.
Yes. Mosarwa, Poloko Mosarwa.
It's actually Mosarwa with an A.
Yes. Mosarwa, yes. Would you kindly share your background in terms of give us your name and a little bit of your short CV, as it were?
Okay. My name is Poloko Mosarwa, and most people know me as Phly Honey, Make Some Money. I am a radio personality at Gibbs FM. I'm an entrepreneur. I own a clothing brand and also bottled water. And I am a philanthropist in my hometown. There is work that I do there with the Lobatse Town Council. And I was born and raised in Lobatse. And I've worked in corporate, but I since left corporate and became a radio personality and an entrepreneur, because that's something that I'm super passionate about. And I felt that in this lifetime I had to do it. If I don't, I'm most likely going to be somewhere kicking myself for not taking the opportunity.
You end up regretting if you don't do it now.
Yes.
And academics,
I studied AAT at the accountancy college, Botswana Accountancy College in Francistown. We're actually the first to open the Francistown branch in 2007. I'm giving away my age now. Yes, and I just applied to different schools. I had applied to UB, I'd applied to IHS and BAC, but BAC is the one that spoke to me. And I thought I was coming to GABS, to the Gaborone campus, but the letters we got said, you are the first 40, we were called the pioneers at the time, and we all went to Francistown. I think majority of us were from down south, and a few of the classmates were from that side. So it was quite an amazing experience, to say the least, because I was coming from a small town where it's easier to get...
Small town being?
Lobatse. Yes. It's easier to get around, and so was Francistown. So it wasn't very different. Like, I walked to school, which was at a mall, and most of my friends were people I was in school with. Yes, I was not familiar with the place, but the people there are so warm, are loving, and they still are. I'm still friends with some of them from that side. So that's where I started my education, and then I got into corporate.
Corporate where?
I started as a personal assistant to the asset manager. I was working for Stanlib Direct Property Investments, and then a year and 8 months later, I joined life insurance as a PA to the managing director at Liberty Life Botswana, and then after that, I was executive assistant to the MD at Cresta Maracanelo, and then I headed the loyalty program at Cresta Maracanelo. But still, this thing was like, you need to be out there. You have to go after what you really love. And I put my foot down. I was just like, I'm going to give myself, say, 5 years, if it doesn't pan out, I still have an opportunity to go back. I have relationships. So post 5 years, I'm still here in this industry. I really love it. It's
you mean
challenging.
the radio industry?
Radio industry and also entertainment industry.
Entertainment in general.
Yes.
Okay. What pulled you to that industry? What was so attractive to you about it?
I think growing up, it's because I was isolated a lot, so my friend was television. I remember wanting to be on Yo TV. And I was like, who's going to take me to Joburg? We don't have relatives in Joburg. Like, they will put ads sometimes when we are hiring or looking for presenters, or after a certain season, there are new presenters, and you're like, that's an opportunity. Then there came a time when Montlearning started at BTV. I went and I auditioned, and I didn't make it.
Oh.
Yes, I remember my aunt Bami took me there, and there was so much, like there were a lot of kids, and I was just like, am I gonna make it? And at the time I felt like my English was not perfect, and I felt bad about it. I've been on talent shows before. I hope they don't have.
I've since discovered that English doesn't have to be good for you to make money.
I guess, but at the time I felt like I had to be articulate on TV if I were to, do a kiddies program. So I forgot about it, or maybe I, shelved it, and I just went on about life. I studied. I went to, I went on with my primary school, with my junior school. I did very well. Senior school, I did very well. Then I went to college, but still.
College as in BAc. Yeah.
Yes, and still, I needed, to be in front of a camera, to be behind the mic. Actually, prior to me joining corporate, I was working at Do My Fam. This is 2011 as a radio personality.
I may have met you there when I was doing Meet the Overcomers around then.
Meet the Overcomers. I remember the show.
Yeah, I'm the one who started it before giving it to Mr. Recton Mazani.
Yes.
So it's possible we are there around the same time.
I remember the show. I was there 2011. I had my own show called The Experiment with Poloko Mosarwa for about 8 months.
Experiment?
Yeah, The Experiment. Because I was new, and the idea was that I'm experimenting with radio, with this. And I remember at the time, there were about 5 of us, so each one of us had to pick out a day. Because radio closed at 10 p.m., so you had to pick out a day, and you'd have 2 hours post 10 p.m. So I took Mondays, and I remember Phly had Wednesdays. There was Master. I can't remember the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
And you know how it is as a child at home. The parents are looking at you like, "What are you doing?" So eventually, I got called for an interview, and I got the job as PA to the asset manager, and then that's when my corporate life started, and it went on for about 7 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, as a radio personality, you have a unique identity and the way you call yourself.
Yes.
Can you just explain to the viewer what that is and how it started?
Phly Honey, at the time, this is the...
You call yourself Phly Honey?
Phly Honey, yes. Make some
money. With a PH?
With a PHLY, Phly. It used to be a trendy...
Phly Honey, make some money.
Yes. Phly used to be a trendy word, I think around 2010. Yeah, 2009, 2010. There were songs around it. It was a casual word that was used by celebrities and people around. So
she's so fly. He's so fly.
He's so fly. My president is fly. At the time when Obama was the president. Things like that. And then Twitter came and I wanted to try out Twitter because I was already on Facebook, and Facebook was new also at the time. It was a different platform. And then I tried to register myself as Phly Honey, but turned out a lot of people around the world had already taken the name. So that's when I put the PHLY, and I started on Facebook hashtagging every post with hashtag Stay Fly. You know, and I put Phly Honey between my names, so Poloko Mosarwa. So it's been like that for 10 years. And I remember there's this guy, his name is Jonathan Dau. He's a graphic designer, such an amazing guy. He designed me a logo, and I haven't paid him for it. We were just friends at the time.
Yeah.
So he designed the logo. The logo's always been there on my social media. And 2018, I was like, I need to do something about it. That's when I left corporate and I made T-shirts to test out the market. And people are like, this is very nice. I like the quality of the T-shirts. And at the time, there were only female T-shirts. And then the men would bother me. If I'm with my girlfriend and she's wearing Phly Honey, maybe make Phly dude, Phly body. I started getting so many suggestions, and I was just like, but if we're gonna keep the brand to what it is. We
brand integrity.
Yes, you know,
maintain that.
We have to maintain the brand the way it's supposed to be, and
the integrity of the brand. Yes,
absolutely. And that's when the make some money part was like, okay, if I'm a Phly Honey, I would want to date somebody who makes money, who would, spoil me with the money. So that's the male part of the brand. Make some money, so the ladies will have the Phly Honey, and then the gents make some money with the Phly Honey here, because they were complaining about the pink also. So we made black T-shirts with different colors, black on black, glow in the dark.
They complained about pink had to do with them seeming to be gay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I listen to my customers. There are guys who are comfortable with wearing pink. There are those who are like, okay, we really love and respect you. Please put this color on it, and I will gladly do that. So another thing that spoke to the brand was that you need to be more inclusive. So I had to listen, and even today they're still asking for more. They want shoes, they want a perfume, they want bags. So I'm a one man, one lady
kind of person
business, know, and I don't really have a team. So this year I'm looking forward to expanding.
We call them sole proprietorships.
Yes. So I'm looking to grow and expand, to have a team where we can look at diversifying the brand and giving the people what they want.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as we speak now, where is it based? How is it operating?
I do it from home and on social media. We have pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And prior to COVID, we had a website. We had plans, but COVID happened. The plan was for you to be able to buy online, and your item is delivered to you anywhere in the world. I've delivered in the US, I've delivered in Zimbabwe, I've delivered in South Africa. But these are people that I personally know. These are my friends, and I just put it in a package. Or if somebody's traveling to where they are, I put it in a package, and it's delivered to them. So the reason why I haven't really gone fully in terms of the logistics is because we are working behind the brand, so that everything is done properly. If we say 48 hours delivery to you, it's 48 hours. I'm working with courier companies that I would trust to deliver on time, in time, anywhere in the world. So that's something that we are really working on this year.
Yeah. What about Mosarwa Digital? What company is that? Because that's the one that I've been finding a lot next to your name.
Yes, I see you've done your homework. I appreciate that a lot. Mosarwa Digital, I started digital marketing with the UCT. It's a program that I did, and I help small businesses, my friends, my dentist, or somebody who asks for help marketing-wise, consultancy, and I'll manage the social media pages for them for a small yana fee. And I've worked with different brands. So at the moment it's on hold because, like I mentioned, COVID did a number, and this year is just the year of...
But I thought we were behind. COVID is behind us now.
COVID is behind us now. Remember, like I mentioned, I'm a one-woman business. So I shelved some of the things during COVID and I focused on other things. But this year, we are coming back and we're coming back stronger. And I think this is why I'm here at Nuggets of Wisdom podcast.
Yeah. You are a radio personality. People know you. Let's talk about the early days. How was it at the beginning when you went from corporate to radio? Can you share that transition and just
Absolutely. I was raised by an old woman who didn't believe that you have to sleep until the sun is up, Even my grandfather, they will be up maybe 5 a.m. They're drinking that tea. And I feel uncomfortable if I'm not doing anything.
After 5?
No, just in general. Just in
Okay.
general. Like you have to work hard. You have to, do something with your hands, with your mind, apply yourself. So I was done at BAC and I've been trying to get a job. And I actually became a waitress at one of the restaurants in the city. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention it.
No, well, you can.
Yes, Edo Higgins. Yes, there's this gentleman. Actually, I met him downstairs, Lefa. He was my manager at the time.
Yeah.
I casually walked in.
He's now running black.
Yes, I just had breakfast with him, actually.
Yeah.
And he was so shocked to see me. He's like, "You're so big," I casually walked in and I asked for a job. He said, "Come tomorrow." And the next day, indeed, I started training. And, I was a waitress. It was a good job. I made maybe like your 200 pula per day. That's good money, 150.
From
you
tips and things.
From tips, yes. And I lived in Block 9, which was closer to Game City. So it was just 2 combis and then I could save some of the money, And I knew eventually that I had to work. So I remember I stopped working at the restaurant. I just stopped because I had like a bad experience there, with the customer. Customers are very different. So I stopped going to work and I was just like, okay, fine, what do I want to do? And I was sitting at home, I was listening to radio and it's to my fam, And I remember 3500130. I dialed the number. This lady, she's at reception. I believe she's still at reception. I met her a year ago. And she answers me so nicely. Like, she's such a kind lady. She still is. Even her energy is still the same.
Yeah.
And I told her, I want to be on radio. What should I do? My name is Poloko Mosarwa. I listen to radio most of the time. She's like, no, come here tomorrow and ask to see Gala Huto. Okay, and I did. And at the time, Junior FM was at Sting, the old grounds.
Yeah.
And for you to get there, you had to walk. Like, you'd use a Pakalani combi or Audi combi, and then you drop off on the highway, and then you walk such a long distance, gravel roads, until you get there. I was just like, oh my God. But I enjoyed it. I got there, and I had a chance to talk to Redi Huzo, and he asked me why. I told him I'm passionate. If there's an opportunity, please, can I learn radio? I promise you I won't disappoint you.
Okay, I guess I'm keen to know how you went from corporate back to radio. I mean, you said you worked for 7 years in corporate.
Yes.
I want to know about that transition.
Yes. I resigned. I resigned. I put in a letter and I resigned.
Before you even got the job? At Gabs, I bet.
Yeah. And in between that, I have a friend of mine. Her name is Taylor J. She's Namibian, but at the time she was based in South Africa. She's a musician. And she said to me, come to SA and we can work together. And that's when my interest just, like, we do have an industry in Botswana, but in South Africa, it's just fully fledged, Whatever, they've had the TV industry for a very long time. The radio personalities are bigger, the numbers are bigger.
Population advantage.
Yes, absolutely. And I started seeing I was going to these shows where literally this fashion show that we invited to, and Patrice Motsepe and his wife were sitting literally there across us. And I was like, this is real, this is happening. You know, I've helped her, you know, produce attires for 2 of her music shows. One, I'd done it from this side, but the other one, I was with her at that side, and she was featuring Patorankin, which is one of the biggest Nigerian stars. And I've met him on set. You get to learn how things are done, from recording a song to mastering a song to registering a song to creating a music video for it, outfits, you know, and creating traction for it on social media for it to trend and all of that. Radio interviews, TV interviews, you know, club tours and all of that. So that really sparked something in me, and I said, I'm going to focus on this. Yeah.
And you've been now a radio personality for 5 years full time.
Not 5 years. I've started at Gebs FM in 2021.
Oh, so just a couple of years.
Just
okay.
a couple of years now.
All right.
Yeah.
And you're also an MC.
I'm an MC.
Yeah. Define that and tell us what gigs you're having.
I would say 2022 was my year. It was such an incredible year. And I've done GIMC, the big concert. I have MC, GIMC, the Champagne. I've MC'd 2 of GIMC Afrotech. And I've MC'd a lot of shows, honestly. And the highlight was MC, something that I'd never done. I MC'd the Bomus live on television.
Wow.
Yes, towards the end of the year. Yes.
How does one land a gig like that?
I believe people are always watching Mogobe. Like even now, you would be so surprised for who's watching Nuggets of Wisdom. You know, so people are always watching, and I guess they'd been watching. And then I got a call, and they asked, okay, how much would please send us a quotation? And we started doing rehearsals, and I did the show.
Yeah. Does one need to augment their, you know, radio career with being an MC, or is just an accidental thing?
It's not accidental. You have to diversify. You have radio, you have your salary at radio, or however you are being paid at radio, but you have to diversify. That's why I still have my clothing brand. That's why I have my water, and that's why I have the MC gig. And if you see other radio personalities that DJs, you know, they merge that with radio, because post your 3 hour on a daily basis, there has to be something that you're doing.
You have the rest of the day.
Yes, you have the rest of the day. What are you doing with it? Yes, you can go to the gym, but you have to do something else. Yes.
Okay. Now you're an entrepreneur by every standard. Let's start with the water.
Yes.
You have it in front of you.
Yes,
What's
I
so
do.
special about this water?
It's Phly honey water. You've never seen water with the pink, anything pink. I'm female. The future is female. And yesterday was International Women's Day, and UN Women says include women. You know, so everything that I do, I want to inspire young girls. I want to inspire women that you can actually go into business and join other people, join men in different fields and the industry, whichever industry it is. So here I'm doing the water. I'm doing the clothing brand. It's a streetwear. Most streetwear companies are, you know, male dominated.
Yes.
You know, most female designers are designing dresses and, you know, stuff for women. But
I'm curious about the design for the bottle.
Yes.
Tell me about it, because it looks very different.
It does. I have a friend of mine who has a branding company. She's always looking out for me. I love her so much. Iran Faladi. She proposed this to me. She does everything. Her company is Dazzle Branding, and she said, you know what, come check this water out. And I told her I don't want anything with a blue cap. I've always wanted a pink cap, but we couldn't find a pink cap. So she had a white cap, and she had this beautiful bottle. And yeah, I was just like, let's go for it.
Where does one find this water?
You can order directly from my page, Phly Honey Clothing, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But at the moment, I am in talks with different restaurants and establishments to carry the water. So you should be able to buy it directly from a fridge.
Are you involved in the manufacturing process? They call it what? Reverse osmosis?
Reverse osmosis. Like I mentioned, my friend is the one who has the business.
So you're just offering the brand?
I'm just offering the brand aspect of it. Yes. And for me is to push in terms of my following, in terms of how people love my brand, and also in my entrepreneurial skills in terms of, partnering with brands.
Just turn it around so people can see.
Yes.
The camera can see how it's,
Yes.
Okay.
And I ideally wish to grow beyond this into a 1.5 liter, a 5 liter, sparkling water, even smaller ones, 330 mils for children to pack with koskolong. And, as a female entrepreneur, I would want to sponsor female entrepreneurs. If you have an event, we can sponsor the water part of your event to put on your tables. If it's a gala dinner, if you have a marathon, we will sponsor the water. So if you are able to communicate with us, then definitely we can.
So the focus is on water and clothing.
Yes.
Do you design the clothing?
I do, and because it's.
Are you a designer?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a designer.
Tell me about that.
Okay.
That side of your business.
I believe in working with creatives and getting something from them because they are creative, and I'm a creative also. So it's always about, what do you think if we do this? For instance, in the last year, I had glow-in-the-dark sweaters for winter, something that I'd never seen before locally, and it came about because I saw a friend. He had bought a glow-in-the-dark Adidas sweater, and then we are at Squash, where I used to do MC work, and he was putting on the lights, so they were still dark, and then there was this neon light, so the back of his sweater lit up in the dark. I was like, I actually want that, So I met some other guy who had the paint, and he designed the clothing in-house, because I don't have the skills. I can't do like digital designs or anything. So he sent me samples back and forth, and I was like, okay, I like this, I like that one. Okay, let's finalize. Are we doing this? Are we not doing this? So yes, and I'm always looking to do something that's interesting, that's never been done before. Yeah,
you told me that 2022 was a great year.
Yes.
As an MC, how was it as an entrepreneur? Any highlights you can share?
Yes, the money was good, I must say. The money was good, and the recognition was good. The respect in the industry was good, and people are always asking for more. They still are, actually. And it's because towards the end of the year, I took a break because it was hectic. That's how hectic it was.
A break from?
Sorry?
A break from which?
From work, from emceeing, from, gigs are a lot during December time because this is when people are taking a break. But I hadn't taken a break the whole year, And I was just like, what, let me take a break because I could feel it in my body. I was tired. I had just done the bomus, and I believe in listening to your body and making sure that you take care of yourself because that's the only place you live in.
Did you go on holiday to a distant location, undisclosed location?
No, I didn't. I haven't, but I will.
You just stayed at home?
I stayed at home, but I did minimal radio for festive season, December and part of January. Then I took the last part of January off, and then I was back at work in Feb. Yes. I was just taking it easy, just staying home.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in terms of philanthropy,
yes,
talk a little bit about that because I know you are a philanthropist.
Yes, I love people. I love helping somebody, feel comfortable or have their life easier. So during COVID, I was in my hometown and I approached the Lobatse. Yes, Lobatse, yes. I keep assuming that everybody knows I'm from Lobatse. Yes, my hometown where I was born and bred. I approached the Lobatse Town Council and Dulax Botswana, and I asked
the paint company.
Yes, the paint company. And I asked them what it is that they can help me with. That's Dulax Botswana. And Lobatse Town Council, what it is that I could help with. And I said to them, I have paint, and what do you think we can do? They said, oh, actually, we have, people in the under the social work department who needs refurbishment in their homes. These are homes that are built for them by the council, but with time, maybe the council doesn't have enough money to paint for them or to renew the paint. So that's what I do in my hometown with Dulax Botswana. They offer paint, and I have my friends who join me to paint for these families. And of course, some of
these destitute families?
Yes.
Or almost destitute?
They are, I believe they are under the destitute section because they're under the social work department in Lobatse. Yes.
And how many have you painted so far?
I've painted 2 so far, once a year, and this time around we plan to paint at least one house every 4 months. The other house that we could have painted last year is still being it's still going through the plumbing process. So once they are done, we're just waiting on them. The paint is there. Dulax Botswana is ready with it, and that's some of the work that we do. And on top of that, something that I got to notice beyond what I agreed with the Lobatse Town Council is that you'll find that they are a family and they are registered under the social work department. Then on the day when you go to paint, you spend the whole day with them. You get to learn how there are issues beyond that. There's a child. There's a child in the family who hasn't gotten a job, who doesn't work, but they wish to work. So some of the things that we wish to do is to help them look for jobs, even if it's a receptionist job, even if it's a working in the store, So part of the work that we wish to do on top of us painting is that's
the aspiration, or is something happening already?
It's aspirational, and it's something that we are going to push for. I really tried to push for it. I've written letters, but I haven't gotten any feedback. So if you are watching now, please help us. Yes.
All right. I want to go back to the radio aspect of what you do. Share with the viewer what program you host and why you believe the viewer should listen to that one. Okay.
I host the show called Phly by Night, taken after my name.
Yeah.
Phly by Night. It's every Saturday on Gabs FM between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. It's a music show. Gabs FM, it's a news-orientated radio station throughout the week. They're giving you that content, and during the weekend, I'm saying let's relax, let's take it easy. We're not talking about anything hectic. It's just music. We are taking you back. We're taking you forward. We're keeping you in the present moment. And the second hour of the show, we have a feature called Spotlight. We put a spotlight on local singers, local poets, creatives. I've heard the likes of Ntirela Berman.
You bring them on board.
Yes.
You interview them.
Yes, I bring them on board, and I play their music within that 30 minutes, back and forth, and they tell us who they worked with on that song and why. What is the song saying? I've heard the likes of Sebaha, she's a saxophonist, and I've had the likes of Micah, who is a singer and songwriter. So every other week I have somebody new, but not particularly new, somebody that you know, and they're giving you something new.
No, you mean somebody new to the show?
New to the show, of course. And the last hour of the show is a DJ mix. And I bring you some of the best DJs in the country. And it's a 30-minute mix, and in between all of that is just music and updates on what's happening in the entertainment world and culture.
Okay. You designed this whole thing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you're expected to do when you tell the program's manager. He will tell you, actually, you have to write down a whole synopsis of the 3 hours that you have. Why that name? It has to be catchy. It has to, be exciting for the listener. It has to fit the brand, so.
You're not bringing back the experiment?
I've experimented. I've experimented. Now I know what I'm doing. I've trained, and I've been trained by some of the best people in the industry. Boni Dinda, shout out to you, Boni. And I've learned a lot. Dollar Mac, I've worked with him on stage and on radio as well. He's got more than 20 years in the industry. Yeah. And
I was going to ask you who your heroes are, whether we're talking entrepreneurship or radio. And why?
Okay. Entrepreneurship is going to be my grandmother. And I'll tell you why. Growing up, I've never not seen my grandmother not sell anything. When we were growing up, when we visited, she got a post office box, and I don't know if it was 1 pula at the time. And then she would ask everyone in the households to pay a certain amount of money and use our post office box if they applied for school, furniture at a furniture store, or a job. And she will just go to the post office box, collect everything, put it in a crate, and then they will send maybe that child to go check for their surname in the letters.
What's your grandmother's name?
Poloko Mosarwa.
Okay.
She is going on 94. She's in Mompoloki.
Yeah, if you're watching, hello. Well done. Thanks for setting a good example.
Yes, and we had a landline, still the same thing. You'd have to pay maybe 50 tabe to call. Those are the old ones that were locked with a box like this. She always had the key, or my grandfather had the key, and then they'll open for somebody to call. They would charge them. She used to sell firewood, ice pops. Like, she's always been selling something. And my aunt, Onalena Khosima, I stayed with her in Lobatse, in my hometown, and she had a restaurant. She had businesses, she had property, and I learned from her that you don't have to wait for somebody else. You need to run a business. There were challenges every other day, and of course with this business she could afford nice things to travel. She could buy herself a car, or her family, whatever. They lived in a very nice suburban area, and that's what invoked the entrepreneur in me, and I had to keep it moving. Probably I'm carrying the baton. Yes,
this is great. You have wonderful heroes. Anybody in the industry that you're in? Any heroes in there?
It has to be Carol Manana, now Carol Tabalala. I used to watch BTV. There's this program that she was narrating, and I used to say, this lady's voice is so powerful, and she knows what she's talking about. She talks about sports, and she's always sitting at a table with men, and she's doing such a good job. One day I wish to do a job like that. So she is one person, and internationally it has to be MC Light, the voice of BET Awards. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about aspirations, I guess future plans as well.
Yes.
In terms of, medium, let's say short term, medium, and long term.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything from 2 years to 20 years. What is it? Share with us.
In the short term, I wish to have Phly Honey clothing in a retail store. At least one. Just one.
And you are negotiating with such?
Yes, absolutely. If I can get a letter of intent, that would be great, because delivery shouldn't be a problem. I know people are always hungry. Sometimes I'm like right now, I'm at an interview, somebody calls and texts, I want a t-shirt, and I have to rush to them, but I another meeting now. I want people to have access, be able to order, and then we put, mopo song, and then we deliver to them. Or they just walk into a store and then they buy the item that they want. Even with the water, I'd want it to be in filling stations, in a retail store where you can just grab it and I don't have to be there. Yeah, those are my short term. And in terms of philanthropy, at least 4 houses painted a year. And getting people jobs, even if it's minimum jobs, something that, financial freedom gives somebody dignity. Being able to go to work and have something that is your own, especially as a woman. You shouldn't wait to ask her, please buy me my monthly sanitary pads, or you have to ask for them, or you have to you have to have something of your own as a person. That gives you dignity. You're able to speak for yourself and do things for yourself. Yeah.
Okay, that's short term. Now,
yes.
Medium is what, up to 5 years, and then long term is 10 years and 15.
Yes. I'd want to, in terms of radio, I'd want to have a drive time show. I'd want to move from weekend to midweek, Monday to Friday, a drive time show, or a drive time show.
Why do you want to move?
It's growth. It's growth. It's it's graduating from
No, I understand.
Yeah, it's growth. And
isn't it a matter of just asking the program manager?
You have to work hard. You have to work hard, to convince them so that they can trust you. And I respect that. I don't believe in rushing myself into doing things, because I will punch and I will lose everything. So I think it's a good thing that they are allowing me to spend that amount of time where I am. But should an opportunity arise, I'm definitely going to take it anytime now, because I trust myself. But if your manager and other people are
hopefully they'll be watching this interview.
Yes.
And they'll see what you really, really want.
They know.
Yeah.
You know.
And then long term?
Long term, I wish for my clothing brand to be in over 40 stores across the country. I'd wish to produce garments for chain stores, and hopefully list on the stock exchange. Yeah.
Wow, that's big. That's really, really big, and good luck with that.
Thank you.
You have to start working on that now.
I am. Bit by bit, step by step, I'm working on it. I've been working on it.
All right. You can't get where you are without suffering a significant setback, or having a massive challenge.
Yes.
Is there one that you would want to share with us?
Absolutely. I keep mentioning COVID, and you're saying we are past COVID, but this happened to me. It was easily one of the most hurtful things when it comes to business. I could have given up then, and I realized that if I didn't give up at that time, I'm never going to give up. I had my last money, I had made money from the t-shirts that I told you about, the initial ones.
Yes.
And I bought t-shirts in South Africa because the quality that I wanted for my customers, because there's also quality control that I go through, that I have to, I won't sell something that I can't buy myself in terms of quality, price, So I had found t-shirts, the same supplier from the previous time. I made the same order, and I said to myself, okay, drive to Mafeking, because I was on the bus at the time, deposit the money into the account so that it reflects easily, and then the shipment can be done on the spot or the next day in the morning. So, and this was a Friday, the last Friday of March. You know what happened that following week? Borders closed. The first week of April 2020. And I was like, oh my God, I was hoping, I put all my chips in, when you go all chips in, and you knew if all my chips are in, guarantee I get the money back, everything is going to go well. Oh my goodness. The next 3 months, no shipment. because the borders are closed. And we are talking back and forth. There's nothing that can be done, you know. I just remember at the time even trucks there at Lobatse were being stopped for a couple of days. Remember, like, even the progress of having to test people for COVID wasn't as easy as it is now.
It was hectic.
It was hectic. It took days. Trucks were parked there for a couple of days and they were escorted from one town to another, you know. So there was really nothing that could be done. 3 months.
So you lost what? Revenue?
Yes.
Or just customers?
Yeah. Also, we are not moving. Like, nothing was happening.
Yeah, you lost everything.
Yeah. So eventually the borders open. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Let me work on this. Let me try to push this. Guess what? It's a wrong shipment. It's the wrong shipment.
It's not what you ordered.
It's not what I ordered.
Somebody else's shipment.
No, my shipment, but they put the wrong order. They put sports, you know, sports t-shirts that you go jogging instead of like the casual ones, the cotton ones. Whew. Oh my goodness. And then now I have to get my money back. They're like, but since you deposited in South Africa, we can't do a direct refund. We'd have to...
No, they'd have to take back the merchandise first, right?
Yes. They ended up, you know, saying it's going to be tedious process. You can keep the merchandise. And how do we send back the money? I think it took about a month to figure it out. I was calling the bank here. They couldn't help. So they had to send the money to my friend Taylor J, the one that I mentioned earlier, because she lives in South Africa, to a local account, and then she did a Western Union to me. You know. And now it's 6 months later, 7 months later. And I was so disheartened. I didn't know what to do, but I kept my head up. You know, I kept my head up.
How did you get out of it? How did you get yourself out of the...
You remember my friend that I mentioned with the
yes,
son?
Yeah.
That person would go look for me anyway and help me out. A very true friend, very dear to me. We've been friends since we were children. And she said, PK, that's what she calls me. Come here, let's do something. On me. You know, and she did that. We had t-shirts, we had paper bags, we had sunglasses, we had mirrors, we had bottle openers, everything for Phly Honey, and we're selling packages, and that's how I bounced back.
She injected some money.
Yes, that's how I bounced back. And
it's good to have a friend like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was watching a video recently. I believe it's Black Coffee was saying you need to be around people who are going to say, if you tell them your dream, they're going to say, oh, I know somebody, I know a guy, you know. And Iran is that person. And it's not just me. She helps a lot of people around her. Yeah. And it's such a blessing for us to have her around us as a sister, as a friend.
All right. I guess now this is a time where you can ask me a question. If you have one ready.
Okay. Since Phly Honey makes some money, and I'm about making money, entrepreneurship, radio, yes. How much money do you have?
I don't have money at all. I have just enough for emergencies. What I tend to do is to invest back everything that I make into the business, because I believe that you should turn your active income to your passive income as soon as possible. That is self-generating, that doesn't depend entirely on your presence. So my job is to create those passive income flows wherever I can. So I don't keep money, and I don't have much money. I actually don't know the figure that I have exactly in the bank, but I just have enough money to make sure that payroll is covered when salaries come, and then the bills to run the business are covered, and that there is money that is going to be invested back. We have a couple of ongoing projects in terms of building projects and others that we divert all the cash to that. So I'm without money as such. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. It's a very good lesson. I'll definitely consider that.
Yeah.
I'll definitely consider that.
Yeah. Now, as we conclude, I want you to look at that camera.
Okay.
And talk to the person viewing and share with them parting words of inspiration, something they can take home.
Okay. Hello, viewers out there. Tata, you watching this right now, whatever your dream is, focus on it. Whatever that you wish for in life, focus on it. Those people that are telling you can't be done, you know what, look for those who can tell you that it will be done. People who are meant to assist you will definitely assist you in your path. Focus is the most important thing, and consistency, and respect what you do. Always be on time. Time is very important, and be kind to people. The rest will follow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, let them know where can they find the water and the clothes.
Okay.
And share all your contacts, even on social media.
Okay. You can find Phly Honey Water from me directly. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Phly Honey, PHLY Honey. So you can just shoot me a message, or you can call me on 72894006. But in the near future, you should be able to buy this water somewhere very close to you or very convenient to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. You've been a great guest.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.